ask, where do you get your ideas? Right here. All of this is my magician's toy shop. I'm Ray Bradbury. This is...
I'd been passing alone on horseback through a singularly dreary tract of country, and at length found myself, as the shades of evening drew on, within view of the melancholy house of Usher. Behold, Mr. Bigelow, the second house of Usher.
Is it everything you wanted, Mr. Stendhal?
Yes.
Is it desolate and terrible?
Very terrible.
The walls are bleak?
Amazingly so.
The sedge we dyed it, you know. Is it properly hideous?
It's beautiful.
I had to work in total ignorance, you know. Thank goodness you had the means to pay for it all.
Mr. Bigelow, it was worth every penny.
Now that my job's done, Mr. Stendhal, may I ask what you intend to do with all this?
With Usher? Haven't you guessed?
No.
Does the name of Usher mean nothing to you?
Nothing.
What about the name Edgar Allan Poe?
No.
Of course. How can I expect someone of your generation to know the blessed Mr. Poe? All his books were banned. And then burned in the Great Fire 20 years ago.
Oh, one of those.
Yes, one of those, Mr. Bigelow, along with Hawthorne, Steinbeck, Vonnegut, and all the tales of fantasy and horror and the future, all burned heartlessly. They passed a law. Oh, it started innocently enough, with one group or another. Political bias, religious prejudice, union pressures. There's always a minority afraid of something, and a great majority afraid of the past, afraid of the future, afraid of themselves.
I see.
The curse of the senses, Bigelow. And with a screw tightened here, and a bolt fastened there, and a pull and a push, art and literature are like a great twine of taffy, twisted into knots. So there's no longer any resiliency or flavor to it. The film cameras stop. The theaters are dark. The printing presses grind to a halt.
I'm sorry. I don't know what you're talking about. But from what I hear, the burning was a good thing.
Get out! Leave me alone, you idiot! Mr. Pikes, you are the greatest of them all. The man of 1,000 faces. Cheney, Karloff, Lugosi. What were they in comparison to you?
Journeyman, Mr. Stendhal. Mere plodders after truth.
Now, you must have suffered the night they took your film.
No more than you did the night you watched them burn your library.
Yes. Mr. Poe, dead and burned and dead. Dickens and his Scrooge with his Christmas ghosts, and Stevenson with his treasure islands, buried and dead. Oh, Mr. Pikes, that burning. Sometimes I think it has turned my mind.
Nonsense, Mr. Stendhal. Never. You are as lucid as ever you were.
To the house of Usher.
House of Usher.
Is your name Stendhal?
Yes.
Garrett, investigator, moral climates.
So you're finally here, you moral climate people. I was wondering when you'd appear.
Word gets around. Soon everything here will be neat and tidy as a pin. Now suppose you tell me about this place, Mr. Stendhal.
It's a haunted castle, if you like.
I don't like, Mr. Stendhal. I don't like.
It's simple enough. In this year of our Lord, 2125, I have built a sanctuary for the imagination. Come in, won't you? In this house, copper bats fly in make-believe attics. Brass rats scuttle in plastic cellars. Robot skeletons rattle in dreary closets.
Robot skeletons?
Vampires, wolves, phantoms, done with chemicals and ingenuity.
I was afraid of that. We're going to have to tear this place down, you know.
What a pity. I was expecting it, but I didn't think it would happen so soon.
I would have been here earlier, but we at Moral Climates wanted to be sure of your intentions before moving in on you. I consider you something of a fool, sir, spending hard-earned money on a folly. It must have cost millions.
Yes, it did. But I was left a lot of money when I was very young. I can afford to spend it as I see fit.
We can have the dismantlers and burners here by sundown. By midnight, your place will be a memory. I know all about you, Mr. Stendhal. I've seen your file. You caused us a great deal of trouble 20 years ago, you and your library.
My library. You must put in a full report, Mr. Garrett, mustn't you?
Yes.
Then come and have a look around before you leave. It'll only take a minute.
All right. But no tricks.
I was wondering. This place has only just been finished. Couldn't you let me play with my toy for, 24 hours?
Out of the question, Mr. Stendhal. You know the law. No books, no films, no houses. Nothing that in any way suggests ghosts, vampires, or any creature of the imagination.
For 24 hours. What harm can it do?
Amazing.
Just a robot, Mr. Garrett. Just a robot.
Deplorable. Exactly the sort of thing we mean.
I'll allow you to burn her personally.
I'm glad you've decided not to oppose us, Mr. Stendhal.
No! It's enough to know that I created this place. To be able to say that I did it. I nurtured a medieval Gothic atmosphere in this modern, sterile world.
I must say I have a certain reluctant admiration for your genius, Mr. Stendhal.
Thank you, Mr. Garrett.
But why, Mr. Stendhal? Why all this? What possessed you?
Bureaucracy, Mr. Garrett. But I haven't time to explain. Now.